It all started on a rainy Monday morning, the kind of morning that already feels heavy before it even begins. The cafeteria buzzed with laughter, gossip, and clattering trays. But when the doors opened, the noise dipped just a bit. A girl stepped in, quiet, small-framed, and holding a lunchbox instead of the usual school tray. Her name was Amira Khan, the new girl who had just transferred from another city. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. Her calm brown eyes carried stories no one could read, and maybe that's what drew attention. Or maybe it was because she didn't try to fit in at the far end of the cafeteria. A group of loud boys ruled the space: Tyler, Mason, and Rick. Everyone knew better than to mess with them. They were the school's self-proclaimed kings, sons of wealthy parents who thought they owned the place. And that morning, Amira just happened to walk past their table. "Hey, new girl," Tyler called out, leaning back with his usual smirk. "Where you from? The land of weird?" A few students snickered. Amira ignored him and sat down at an empty table, quietly unpacking her lunch. But ignoring Tyler was a mistake. In his world, silence was an insult. He stood up, swaggering over with his tray. "What's this?" he said, peering into her lunchbox. "Homemade food? EW. What are you, 5? Mason laughed and reached out, snatching a piece of bread and tossing it on the floor. Rick followed, pouring his juice over her table. The cafeteria grew quieter as everyone turned to watch. Amira froze, her eyes fixed on her lunch, soaked, ruined. Her hands trembled slightly, but she didn't cry. She just took a slow breath and whispered something under her breath that no one heard. Tyler leaned closer, mocking. "What was that, new girl? You gonna cry? Or pray for us?" That's when everything changed. Before anyone could blink, Amira stood up. Her movements were calm, too calm. Tyler tried to push her shoulder, but in a blur, she twisted his wrist and sent him crashing to the floor with a yelp. Mason reached out to grab her, but she stepped aside, swept his leg, and he hit the ground next. Rick froze mid-motion, his tray halfway lifted until she stared straight into his eyes. That stare made his breath hitch. He slowly put the tray down and backed away. The whole cafeteria was silent. Tyler groaned on the floor, clutching his arm. Who are you?" Amira crouched beside him, her voice steady but soft. "Someone who's tired of people thinking kindness is weakness." Then she stood up, picked up her soaked lunchbox, and walked toward the door, but before she left, a teacher rushed in. "Mr. Daniel, the vice principal." "What's going on here?" he demanded, his eyes sweeping over the scene. Tyler stammered, She attacked us." The teacher turned to Amira. "Is that true?" Amira looked straight at him. "No, sir. They attacked my lunch. I defended myself." Mr. Daniel blinked. Then something flickered in his expression: recognition. "Amira Khan," he said slowly, reading the roster in his mind. "You're the girl whose father runs the Defensive Arts Foundation, aren't you?" Gasps filled the cafeteria. Everyone had heard of it, a world-renowned center that trained women in self-defense and crisis control. Her father, Colonel Imran Khan, was a decorated officer who'd survived war zones and now taught strength and discipline to women across the country. Tyler's face went pale. "Wait, your dad's that Khan?" Amira looked at him, her voice calm. "The same one who taught me that silence isn't weakness. It's control." For a long moment, no one said anything. Then she turned to leave again, but this time, several girls stood up and followed her, some clapping quietly. Others just nodded, eyes filled with newfound respect. That day changed the school. Tyler and his friends were suspended, but when they returned weeks later, something had shifted. They weren't loud anymore. They kept their heads down, avoided trouble, and, surprisingly, one afternoon, Tyler walked up to Amira. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice trembling. "We were jerks. You didn't deserve that." Amira nodded, forgiving without words. "It's never too late to be better," she said simply, and from that day forward, the cafeteria became quieter in a different way, not out of fear, but out of respect. Amira had taught everyone a lesson that no teacher ever could. Real strength isn't about hurting others, it's about standing up for yourself, even when your voice shakes. The story of the new girl spread across the school, then the town, and soon enough, online. It became a reminder that behind every quiet soul is a fire waiting to rise when pushed. 2far.so. If you're watching this right now, remember Amira's courage. Don't ever mistake silence for weakness, and never, ever let anyone dim your light just because they don't understand your strength. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this. Because sometimes, the quietest people have the loudest impact.